Thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, Enterprise Friday it is. Reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. Let's get talking where we have it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday described himself as a die-hard Democrat, urging Nigerian politicians to respect democratic principles and submit to the rule of law regardless of political pressure. Speaking at an interfaith breakfast with executives of the All Progressive Congress, APC members of the National Working Committee and the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, at the Senate House, Tinubu reflected on his decades of involvement in Nigeria's democratic struggle.
Very true. Now, he recalled experiences of detention, protest, exile, and his role in co-founding the National Democratic Coalition during the fight against military rule. Tinubu said his commitment to democracy is lifelong and rooted in his belief in a united Nigeria. He emphasized that party affiliation and political alliances are voluntary and that disagreements should be handled through debate and intellectual engagement rather than confrontation.
The president remarks come amid criticisms of the recently amended Electoral Act, which he signed after its approval by the National Assembly. Critics argue that some provisions could affect electoral transparency and party processes. Tinubu defended his decision, stating that he respected the overwhelming majority of lawmakers who passed the bill and had no reservations strong enough to reject it. Let's get talking. Emeka Matunagu still here with us. Emeka, thank you so very much for hanging on. Truly do appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, Emeka, let's talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's claim. Die-hard Democrat. Please help us dissect that with what we have today of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as against what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was during the days of military dictatorship, which it seems he is practicing, unfortunately, but wearing an agbada to do that. What's your take, please?
Well, Tinubu will always tell you that he's a Democrat. The same way Muhammad Buhari told us that he was a born-again Democrat. But we saw how he serially abused the rule of law. Interestingly, the man who was the Attorney General Minister of Justice, and who was helping those serial abusers, Abubakar Malami, is now languishing in prison. Look at how the tables turn. So, Tinubu now is having his day. Making all kinds of philosophical preachments that, the Democrat, he doesn't want anybody hurt. But in the last FCT council election, somebody was killed. Nothing has been said about it. In the governorship election in Lagos State in 2023, 2 people were killed. 2 supporters of the Labour Party were killed. Nobody has been prosecuted. Nobody has been arrested. And then look at how his party, the APC, has been making efforts using hirelings to to pull down the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party and even the African Democratic Congress. Can you imagine people going to court to say that ADC should be deregistered? I can't understand. I don't understand how Nigerian politicians reason. These same people who are being hired now tomorrow. By the time APC dumps them, they will now go to ADC and say, "Oh, we are sorry. Please forgive us. We were misled." I don't know how. They always think that they are so clever that they can get away with anything. But Nigerians are wiser now. So, what we are telling Tinubu is this: it's not about talking. We need to see concrete actions, and your actions have not shown that you are really interested in preserving democracy. As a matter of fact, there are insinuations that all these moves he's making, getting governors to defect, is because he wants to have enough National Assembly members supporting a constitutional review for him to stay in office forever, to be president for life. Those are strong insinuations, but the way he's going about it, this is lend credence to this suspicion. He has not shown in any way that he's interested in preserving democracy. He has not shown in any way. Look at the judiciary has become beholden to him. During the elections, the police will look away. Pretend the same police who will roll out in their numbers against protesters, will, be the same people, who will look away. They will suddenly become, they will suddenly, lose all power to counter political talks. If a policeman will run away. I don't know if you've seen videos of policemen running away.
Yeah.
When talks arrived at polling units to snatch ballot boxes. Armed policemen fled. That's how bad. Especially under this former Inspector General of Police. The police now needs to be saved from itself. Because it's an institution that, honestly speaking, oh my, so many things have gone wrong. So, and I'm happy that the new Inspector General of Police removed that fellow. He put there as the spokesman of the police. That guy and his predecessor, no. They really brought the police very low into the cesspit. So we need to let Tinubu know your actions and your utterances so far and the actions of leaders of your party have not shown that you are interested in democracy. You have not said anything about the threat by Pueblo, Governor Pueblo of Edo State against P2B. His supporters, some of his supporters, have been jumping up and down, threatening to attack anybody who puts any poster that is not Tinubu's poster. But let me tell them something. You see, seasons change. They had better be very careful. You only know this very minute. You don't know what will happen the next minute. You don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
They may think, they have state protection. But even that state can reject you. Even that state can deny you. Look at many instances now. People thought they had the protection of the state. Where is Madam Nasir El-Rufai?
Yeah. Are you still there?
Okay, since I think we have a bit of communication glitch there, and we hope Mecca will return back to finish up on that particular important thought on what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu represents, especially given his quote that he is a die-hard Democrat. Very disputable, lots of people would say. If he is a die-hard Democrat, then the big question is, why have we seen his party really not doing what democracy should stand for? Emeka, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. So,
right,
look at Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who felt, he could just continue to do as he like. Where is he now? He's in custody. So let people realize one thing, that look, it's only God who gives power. Unless you say you don't believe in God, then you will see how nature, how natural things will, how things will evolve naturally. But people must realize one thing. Power is only useful when you use it to improve the lives of the people you are serving. Otherwise, you just become a passing relic. Once you are out of power, you are thrown into the dustbin. There are many names today you will remember, that this man was governor. Okay. But there are names you cannot forget. People who have been political leaders in this country. You can't forget. You can't forget. So let them be very, very careful. President Tinubu should stop any actions that are inimical to democracy. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Thanks for your take there. And could these amendments influence future elections in Nigeria?
They removed, the National Assembly removed the provision for indirect primaries, which people have been complaining about, that wealthy candidates were using it. They'll bribe delegates. The governors will appoint 1 million special assistants. That's why you will see one local government chairman will appoint 1,008. They were not doing it because those people were just useful as delegates for indirect primaries. So now, honestly speaking, many special assistants, special advisors will lose their jobs because they have no relevance anymore. Many of them were appointed so that they could stand as delegates in indirect primaries, but now they are no longer useful, so they will be thrown out of the system. That's the way politics evolves in Nigeria. Directly to your question, yes, it's going to affect a lot of things because now people will have to work hard, go to the grassroots to convince people to join their parties, one, and then to convince people to turn up and vote.
Yeah.
On the issue of consensus, there will no longer be, we will see a reduced sense of entitlement that I must get the ticket. It must be me or no other person. No. But the problem there is also Baba Sokwe crazy that has been entrenched in Lagos, whereby all nominations, candidacy, had to come from Tinubu, now the president, former governor of Lagos State. Well, there are fears that the same thing could happen, that lists could be drawn up to substitute, those ones at the grassroots, So using consensus, that powerful people in the presidency could just impose a candidate, on the states. So that's why you see that people are saying that members of the National Assembly, especially those who supported this amendment, may be thrown out. They may be thinking that they will be rewarded. But let me tell you something. Yeah. Nobody allows anybody to stand behind him with a machete. So, having passed it, who knows whether tomorrow they may decide to pass a law that will counter that one. So yes, the Electoral Act has, also reaffirmed the position of the Supreme Court that presentation of forged certificates is a pre-election matter. Some people were saying that it was removed. No. That's not what happened. I think it was a misrepresentation. What happened was that it has now been placed as a pre-election matter, that you cannot go to tribunal after an election to say you are challenging somebody's election because he or she presented false certificates. That once somebody is nominated and there's an issue with certificate, you go to court immediately to challenge it. You go to court to challenge it. So, and I think there are other, reduction in the time allotted to INEC for instance, release the release timetable for general elections. It has been reduced. Then the time for filing and all of those things has been reduced. So we are making progress. Actually, people need to work harder now. People need to use social media to deepen their presence across the country. People need to go out on the streets and campaign for their candidates. Yeah. Then those who are using violence should be made to know that the world is watching. The man you may think you are banking on. Look at what's happening in Iran now. Those thugs called the Iran Revolutionary Guard Council or whatever, many of them have been killed. They have been decimated. Yes. Because the world has seen them as a band of thugs. The ones called Hezbollah in Lebanon, who were an extension of the Iranian leadership, many of them have been killed. So that tells you that thuggery does not pay. So, and the international community can wake up and say, listen, we are not waiting, unlike before, when they will say, no, wait till the next election and vote the person out, or let the people remove the person. Donald Trump has told you that if I don't want this guy as president, I will go by myself and remove him. That's the current dynamics. People can say it is wrong. It violates sovereignty. That's your business. He did it in Venezuela. Who challenged him? He did it in Iran. So people should be careful. The world is watching. Particularly, the world is watching Nigeria right now. Because on March 26th, there's going to be a hearing of the Congress committee, the U.S. Congress committee, about Christian persecution in Nigeria. Yeah. Now, those who are hired with $9 million by the lobbyists engaged by the Tinubu administration, they'll be there. Those who are against them will be there. And let me tell you, if the voice of those pushing that these terrorists should be wiped out and that there must be a change in how things have been happening in Nigeria, if their voice prevails, Donald Trump will act. And I'm being frank with you, he will act. So I think people should. Why can't we have a Nigerian political culture devoid of violence? Why must there be violence? If your aim is not to go and steal, there is violence because they have no other job. Many of these guys outside politics, they will die. They will die. They can't work, they can't live outside politics. They will die. They can't do another job outside politics. They will die. So let them go and look for work. Let them go and train as hairdressers or tailors or carpenters or plumbers. Let them go and look for work to do as welders. You see, there are boys on the streets. Owomida. By the time all these things are eliminated, honestly speaking, many of our problems in Nigeria will go away. That's the truth. We've seen it now. Look at now. NNPC is now buying, is no longer importing now. They are now buying petroleum products from Dangote refinery, which is what some of us have been clamoring for. And I'm happy that somebody somewhere listens. Now we should stop the importation of petroleum products. Let's see. And thank God this is a crisis period. So by the time this crisis passes, and then you will now begin to see a dramatic drop in the figure. We claim that we consume 54 million liters every day. When you see a dramatic drop, why you have that figure is because there's no power supply. But if things adjust, you will see that a lot of things we've taken for granted in Nigeria will come to an end. Criminality is the major industry fueling politics in Nigeria. But if we can remove it, that brigandage, honestly, politics will be a very interesting call to service. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. You've stated some of these things, and they are very factual, very important. And I'm very grateful that you were able to make this known, because lots of people would not love to, say it the way you have just enumerated it. So we truly do appreciate you. It's actually quite interesting. The politics in Nigeria is quite interesting. The history of politics in Nigeria quite interesting. That's why I say Nigeria is a different case, different from other parts of Africa. I do not know, but I'm one of those that sincerely believe that God is a Nigerian with a green passport. And little wonder you see all of this dislodgement happening here and there. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu might claim he is a die-hard Democrat, but the future will tell, really, if that was born out of the desire to possibly allow his dynasty and his legacy into the life of Nigerians that he has not impacted on, or that he is really doing it genuinely. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for your time. We truly do appreciate you as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, it's about time, and we have to leave it at this point. I'd love to say thank you for your time. Wherever it is you've streamed or watched from around the world, we truly do appreciate you. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com to read up on everything we've talked about today. You might equally download to watch and share to your friends and your folks and your social media platforms also, if you may. That is when you visit us at Enterprise at TV7. I am Henry. Have yourself a splendid day.
And I'm Kendi, bordering. Bye.
Bye-bye.